Hello everyone, I welcome you all to a new subject, that is business management. Business management, what do you mean by business management, guys? See, first there are two terms, business and management. First we shall be focusing on management. Management, if simply breaking it down, it is manage the men tactfully. So here we are managing the human resources, managing other things apart from human resources, like managing your business, managing your organization, managing your employees, etc. The second word is business. So specifically we are focusing on managing our business. Okay, when we are managing our business, we are managing all the functions of business. Like we are managing the finance function, we are managing the marketing function, we are managing the human resources function, we are managing the production function. All the things which are related directly or indirectly to businesses, we are going to manage. Okay, so the subject entirely deals with the management of your business. In this subject, the very first chapter is nature and scope of management. In nature and scope of management, we shall be studying what do you mean by management, how the concept of management was evolved, who all were engaged, what are the thought processes, what are the ideologies, what are the steps in management. Okay, slowly and gradually we shall be beginning with the syllabus, we shall be increasing the level of our difficulty. In examination, the question that can be asked, that will be very direct. Okay, so we do not hope that case based question will be asked in your examination. The level of examination, the question will be easy to moderate, and the material we are providing you is a comprehensive material. With the help of that material, for sure you shall be able to score a very good marks. You shall be able to you shall be able to take the correct option in the examination. Okay, so what you have to study, how you have to study, both I shall be explaining it to you as we move further with the chapters. The very first concept is the meaning of management. What do you mean by management? So simply putting down into words, management is invariably defined as the process of getting things done through the effort of others. Guys, there are two things. One, we are doing the work ourselves, and the second one is we are getting the work done by others. Okay. So when we are getting the work done by others, that requires special skill, that requires a lot of tactics. And that tactics, that skills is known as management. Doing work yourself is not management. Okay, we cannot manage ourselves. Okay, that is not a part of business management. When you are managing ourselves, managing others is a part of business management. Okay, so management is defined as the process of getting things done through the effort of others, getting from where we are to where we want to be with the least expenditure of time, money and efforts. Okay, we are at a particular position and we are forecasting and planning to get at a different position. Okay, at the very starting of the year, I was at a position, okay, I was having a certain set of turnover. The turnover of my establishment was 100 crores. But I planned that by the end of the year, I shall be getting a turnover of 200 crores. So getting from where I am to where I want to be with the least amount of efforts. Effort should be least, money expenditure should be least, and time should be least. That is management. If we are wasting a lot of asset, a lot of time and efforts have been devoted, okay, then there is no use of management. That is not a good management. That is a poor management. So when we are trying to get work done from others, we are going to achieve our objectives with the least possible expenditure of time, money and efforts. That is known as management. And how we can achieve it? By the help of coordination. Coordination among all the people who are going to get our work done. So coordination between our subordinates. Okay, so or coordinating individual and group efforts, or coordinating individual and group efforts towards superordinate goals. Okay, so we are getting things done by the coordinate efforts of all the subordinates and the leaders. So that is known as management. Now guys, I'm going to quote two definitions more, and these definitions are given by some theorists. In the examination, many a times it has been seen that what they do, they quote a definition and they ask who has given this particular definition. A lot of definition in management has been quoted, but we are going to do only two more definitions because we have seen in normal examination only these two definitions have been mostly repeated. Okay. Otherwise, the definition of management are endless. Every theorist has given his own interpretation of management, but mostly in examination only these two are asked. Harold Kuntz, he defined management is the art of getting things done through and with the people in formally organized groups. So Kuntz believes that it is the art of getting things done, but how? With the help of people in formally organized groups. We have to organize people in proper groups. Okay, and coordination must be established between them. So management number one, the word here supported is formal. It shall not be informal. Okay, because we are managing our business, so it shall be a formal organization, and in that we are not going to manage a particular individual. We are going to manage an organized group of individuals. Next definition is given by Dalton E. McFarland. So we have said that management is defined for conceptual, theoretical and analytical purposes as that process by which managers create, direct, maintain and operate purposive organization through systematic, coordinative, cooperative human effort. So he's saying that management, what do you mean by management? It is a process by which managers, they create, direct, maintain and operate purposive organization. Okay, what they're going to do, they're going to direct, maintain and operate organization. How they're going to do? Through a systemized or systematic, coordinated, cooperative human effort. Okay, the efforts of the human that shall be coordinated, that shall be cooperative, and through that we're going to direct, maintain and operate our organization. Okay, the meaning is same, just the language is different. So what you have to do, you have to just memorize the definition. Okay, you have to hold the key points. The main definition is the same, the easy one. Okay, just you have to remember that this was a language given by Harold Kuntz and this was a language given by Dalton E. McFarland. Only that you have to do. Okay. Next is the nature of management, nature or characteristics of management. So these are the nature of management. First of all, management is multidisciplinary. That means it arrives or it achieves or the basic ideologies of management. It has been obtained from different fields, different subjects. Next is management is both science as well as art. Okay. Third is management as a profession. What are the rules of management as a profession? Then we have universality of management. Is management principle applied universally or not? Then are the principles relative or absolute principles? And lastly, is the nature of principles dynamic or rigid? Okay, so these are the features and characteristics of management. We shall be studying about them in detail now. First of all, management characteristic is multidisciplinary. Guys, now what we are going to do in management? In management, we're going to manage the resources, the assets, the liabilities, and human beings. So when we're going to manage all of them, we require a lot of knowledge, and that knowledge can be obtained from studying different subjects. For example, if I'm going to manage human beings, we need to understand the psychology of human beings. So contributions to the field of management can be expected from any discipline. Management is not a subject in itself. It has been derived from different subjects. Okay, the theories have been derived by studying different individual subjects. So it has obtained its contribution from psychology, because we are going to study human beings, the nature of human beings, and for that we need to understand the human psychology. Then we need to study sociology, anthropology, economics, ecology, statistics, operation research, history, etc. Why we need to study history? Because we need to learn from the experiences of individuals. So for that we need to study history also. Why we need to study the statistics and operational research? Because some theorists, they believe that management is a process. Management is a sort of mathematical process. It is a science, and for that purpose we need to study operation research as well as statistics. Okay, why we need to study the economics? Because our company or our organization cannot run in individuality. It is a part of the entire macro scenario. Okay, so for that we need to study economics also. Okay, so any subject directly or indirectly allied to management, we can take contribution for that. Management in itself is not a subject, it is a derived subject. Okay, the next one is dynamic nature of principles. Principles are a fundamental truth which establish cause and effect relationship of a function. Based on practical evidences, management has framed certain principles, but these principles are flexible in nature and change with the changes in the environment in which an organization exists. So they are saying that what do you mean by principles? Normally principles are fundamental truth. Okay, if you are putting a particular input, a particular output will be obtained as per the principle. But what we have obtained over the years through our experiences, through our evidences, that management, although it has some established principles, but these principles are flexible in nature. Okay, these can be applied, but the nature of an extent of application and the result, that will be completely different. Okay, that will change with the change in the environment. That will change with the change in the environment. How will it change with the change in environment, guys? See, if there is a small organization and there is a big organization. In small organization, all the control is in the hand of the entrepreneur or in the hand of the owner. In big organization, all the control has been delegated to functional managers. So delegation of authority or decentralization is a concept, but it will have an impact by the size of organization. Okay, if the organization is in a different location, for example, if I'm having an organization as a multinational company, or I'm having an organization, a small organization in my local city, so that will also have a effect on my principles for sure. Okay, in multinational corporation, you cannot manage the business without decentralization, but in a small shop or a small business in your hometown or in your locality, you can easily manage your business through centralization. So all the features of and all the principles, they have a dynamic nature, they have a flexible nature. They are not rigid. According to circumstances, according to change in conditions, they have to be changed. Next one is relative, not absolute principles. Management principles are relative, not absolute, and they should be applied according to the need of organization. So they're saying that you do not have to be exact, accurate, or absolute while applying the management principles. You have to change the management principles. You have to take a U-turn also. Some principles are not applicable to your industry also. Okay, according to the need of the organization, according to the circumstances with which you are working, you have to change the management principle. For example, COVID pandemic, that was a sudden thing. For COVID pandemic, you have to suddenly shift your businesses. You have to suddenly change your business scenario. Okay, so according to the need of the organization, according to the need of the hour, you need to change your principles. So management principles are relative. Okay, they depend upon the time, they depend upon the need of the organization. They are not absolute principles. Next is management, science or art. Now guys, management, whether it is a science or art, that is a very important question, and this important question has been asked in many examinations. Okay, regarding theory questions also and in objective type questions also. So management is both art and science. See, science, it is based on logical, okay, on logical consistency or scientific explanation. As I've told you, in science, what we have a particular input, and the desired or the predetermined output is obtained. So in management principles also, we have certain inputs, and if we apply them, certain output is expected, and normally it is obtained also. For example, if we observe discipline in an organization, discipline is a fundamental principle of management. If we obtain, or if we are having discipline in our organization, then we can increase our productivity. That is for sure. So they are saying that science, that is based on input output. So management in some terms is also based on input output relationship. So management can also be termed as a inexact or pseudoscience, means incomplete science. Management is also science, but in some terms, in some parts. Now they are saying it is also a part of art, because art means that you have to apply your specialized skills. You have to apply certain tactics. You might have observed that certain managers, they are very good at obtaining work from the subordinates, while certain are very bad at that. Okay. So how someone is very good and someone are very bad, although they both have studied the same principles, they both have studied the same laws. So some are having some special tactics, and that tactics they have obtained from experiences, from application of their skills, from trial and errors. So meaning of art is related with the bringing of desired results through the application of skills. Management can be considered as an art, and a better manager is one who knows how to apply the knowledge in solving a particular problem. I'll give you a very easy example for that. You are having some subordinates. You are a manager in an organization and you are having some subordinates. Now there are A, B, C, three subordinates. If you want to get work done from A, you need to offer him monetary incentives, because his nature is he's a greedy person. Okay, you need to give him some monetary benefits. If you want to obtain productivity from B, now he wants dignity, he wants respect. So you need to talk to him properly, you need to give him respect, you need to give him dignity. Okay, he does not require any monetary incentive. If you properly give him dignity and respect, he will be very good and he will be very efficient in his work. Now for Mr. C, what he needs regular appreciation. Okay, So if you appreciate him, if you motivate him regularly, he will be very efficient. So these are the inputs that you require to give to them. Now, if you are giving monetary incentive to B and if you are giving appreciation to A, both will not work. So that you know, need to know, the manager need to know that how to get work done from an individual employee. What are his needs? So that requires application of specialized skills, that require application of a lot of knowledge. And that knowledge can be obtained only from trial and error and experiences. So management can be called an art also. So whenever the question will be asked from you that is manager a science or art, you have to say that manager is both science as well as art. Okay, because something at some parts we can say that manager is a pseudoscience because it is based on logical consistency, input output relationship is there, and in some scenarios it requires a lot of specialized skills also, it requires a lot of tactics also. So in that terms it is art also. Next is management as a profession. Profession is an occupation for which specialized knowledge, skills and training are required, and the use of these skills is not meant for self-satisfaction, but these are used for the larger interest of the society, and success of this skill is measured not in terms of money alone. Management possesses certain characteristics of profession while others are missing. Therefore, it cannot be said to be a profession, though it is emerging as a profession. Guys, this is a completely theory point. Okay, you are doing MBA in an organization. Some say that it is a professional degree. Some are arguing that it is not a professional degree. Professional degree such as chartered accountancy, such as company secretary, such as cost work accountants. Then we have your actuary. Then you have advocates. People refer to them as professionals. So the question arises: is management is also a profession or not? So if we see the exact definition of profession, profession is such an occupation which requires specialized knowledge. A chartered accountant has specialized knowledge of accounts and taxation. A company secretary and advocate have specialized knowledge of laws. A cost accountant has specialized knowledge of costing and finance. Okay. Actuary has specialized knowledge of economics and statistics. So they are very good in their particular fields. But management, he should have a knowledge of each and every field of organization. If you're in the top management of an organization, you should know about finance also, about marketing also, about production also, about operations also, about technicalities also, about sales also. So you should be equipped with all the knowledge of the relevant, all the fields. Okay. So they are saying that whether management can be classified as a profession, that is a concept of ambiguity. Many are in the favor, many are against it. So ultimately what was decided that management, it possesses certain characteristics of profession, because now with the delegation of authority, with the decentralization, we are having separate finance managers, we are having separate sales manager, we are having separate technical managers, separate operational managers, okay, separate marketing managers. So now the operations and the functions have been delegated. So now some are saying that management is also a profession, while others are saying that management is not a profession, though it is emerging as a profession. Slowly and gradually, it is obtaining the characteristics of a profession. Some people are in its favor. Last is universality of management. So there are arguments in favor and against the concept of universality. Universality is whether the principles of management are applied universally or not. So there is a lot of favor, pros and cons, arguments against and favor in that particular concept. Some are saying that they can be applied in all the organization in each country, but while some are saying that these cannot be applied in all the situations in all the countries. So the universal application of management principles are applicable or not to the entire scenario, to the all circumstances, that is arguable. Okay, guys, when I'm talking about the nature of management, you just need to know the headings. Okay, nothing else. Do not go into much details. What I'm going to explain you, what I've already explained you, that is more than enough. Just remember the headings. Okay, nothing more than that. Next is evolution of management. How all the concepts of management were evolved. So when I'm talking about evolution of management, there are four phases of evolution of management. Number one is the pre-scientific management era. Before 1880, the era was known as the pre-scientific management era. Then we have the classical management era, 1880 to 1930. Then we have the new classical management era, 1930 to 1960. And lastly, we have the modern management era, 1950 onwards. Okay. Pre-scientific, classical, neoclassical, modern management era. Do not get confused that this is from 1930 to 60 and this is from 1950 onwards. Okay. They have given the classification as such only and there is no mistake in this. Okay. The era, the period is not important also. Just you need to know the phases of management, how many are there, the names of the phases, and secondly you need to know certain theories I shall be telling you. Okay, certain theories you have given important theories of management. You should know which theories belongs to which era. Okay, now studying about the particular eras and management phases. Number one, we have the pre-scientific management era. So during pre-scientific management era, valuable contributions were made by churches, military organizations, and writers like Charles Babbage and Robert Owen. A school of thought emerged in this era is known as pre-scientific management school. So this particular management era, okay, see before 1880, and we are not talking about India, we are talking about the entire world. So initially, this particular industries they were in Europe only, not in India. So you can imagine the scenario before 1880. In that time, there was not an established industry. Industries were slowly and slowly growing, and they were owned by single person. There was not a concept of companies. There was not a concept of multinational companies or a partnership. Okay, they were small proprietorship firms. So in that era, what was organized form? In that era, only the churches and military organizations they were organized. Okay, so the set of rules they were observing. So that was basically written down by certain writers such as Charles Babbage. Charles Babbage, you must have heard the name. He's the father of computers, and Robert Owen. So they have observed, they have noted down the certain contributions, the certain rules and strategies which the churches and military organizations were doing, and this particular school of thought is known as the pre-scientific management school. Okay, the contributions were made by churches and military organizations only because at that time only they were observing the organized form. Industries was not in an organized form at that time. Okay, so you need to know the writers of that era, Charles Babbage and Robert Owen. Then we have the classical management era, 1880 to 1930. The classical theories like F.W. Taylor and Henry Fayol concentrated on organizational structure for the accomplishment of organizational goal. So these two theorists, very important names, F.W. Taylor and Henry Fayol, they belong to the classical management era. Frederick Winslow Taylor's solution was the scientific management approach, which proposed that productivity could be improved only by a series of precise procedures developed from a scientific observation of a situation. So F.W. Taylor, he is known as the father of scientific management. We shall be studying in detail about him in the next video. So his solution was that you should observe scientific rules. Okay, you should, if you need to increase the productivity of your organization, so you need to have a scientific rules, scientific observation, and those scientific principles should be applied in your organization if you want to achieve efficiency and productivity. So what you need to remember in classical management era, first of all, the two theorists, F.W. Taylor and Henry Fayol, they belong to the classical management era. Okay, and secondly, Frederick Winslow Taylor, that is F.W. Taylor, he believed in the theory of scientific management. Next, we have the neoclassical management era. In neoclassical management era, there were two important writers. One is Alton Mayo, and second is Chester Bernard. Okay, they need to improve on the writings of classical writers. What the classical writers have given, they were just researching on that, and they were just modifying what the classical writers have given. They suggested improvements for good human relation in the organization. Basically, they believe that in the organization, there should be a good relation between the managers and the subordinates. So they focused on how the human relations can be improved, how the interpersonal relationship can be improved between the managers and the subordinates. It suggested that beyond the need for workers' inclusion and supportive leadership, organizations should design jobs to meet the higher needs of the employees and utilize their full potential. So first of all, they believed in workers' participation in the business. Okay, workers shall be given a right to say in the organization, whether in the field of workers' welfare, whether in the need of production, because ultimately they are the persons who are working in the operational end. So they also have a deeper knowledge about the technical things. So they shall be given participation in the management. And secondly, these writers, they believe that the workers' job shall be designed in such a way that the potential of the worker is fully utilized. If you are employing a person who is a fully qualified person, but you are employing him in labor work, so that will firstly hurt his dignity also, and secondly, his full potential can also not be utilized. Ultimately, it will be both. It will be a harmful situation for both the worker as well as for the organization. because neither the organization can harness his full potential nor the worker is getting full salary, full remuneration which he can get. Okay, so that was the basic ideology of the new classical management era. Then we have the modern management era. The modern management thinkers like Robert Schleifer and Herbert Simon define organization as a system. These are the two modern management thinkers. You need to remember the name. So they thought that organization, your entire business, is a sort of system. So a need of system is there. Okay. Now, what do you mean by system, guys? So, if you're working in an organization, you might see that even if you need to issue stationery in your organization, what you need to do, you need to write a mail to a particular person. That particular person will be taking his the approval from his seniors, and then only the printing stationery will be issued to you. So that is a system. A system has been devised for all the things. So in that system, even if the head of the organization they are not available, then also due to the automatism and automatic system, your organization that will be running very efficiently. Okay, the social system school, the decision theory school, quantitative management school, and the system management school, etc., are the contributions of modern management era. In the next video, we shall be studying about different schools of management, and they are saying that these schools, social system, decision theory, quantitative management, and system management school, they are the contributions of the modern management era only. Okay, so what you have to remember is that this era, the name of the two modern management thinkers, then this modern management era, all the schools, these schools have been a result of this modern management era only, and this era thinks the organization as a system. Okay, in all the multinational companies today, all the organizations are running on system only. If you look at the big four are the E&Y, PwC. So there is no head of the organization. Okay, there is no you can say hierarchy of family there. Okay, so the entire organization is a system only. All the processes are run as a system only. Everything, for everything there's a predetermined system, and you have to follow these sequential steps only. Even if you're recruiting a person, okay, there's a predetermined system that how the person will be recruited. If you are leaving a person is leaving the organization, there's a predetermined system that what shall be the steps that shall be taken for that particular organization, which all person will be involved in that, what will be the role of that particular person. So all the steps have been predetermined. Okay, so for today's video, that was all. Now there's a concept check question based on the things we have studied till now. So Elton Mayo, he belongs to which era of management theories? You need to tell me that Elton Mayo belongs to which era of management theories. I'm giving you four options: pre-scientific management era, classical management era, neoclassical management era, or last is modern management era. So as I've told you, we have studied also that Elton Mayo belongs to the neoclassical management era. So guys, the type of question I'm asking you in concept check, these types of question can be expected in your examination. So study the concept check properly, and what you need to do, try to extract the factual things from the topics. Okay, the factual things in the topic, they can be asked in your examination. Okay guys, so that was all for today's video. I shall be seeing you in the next video. Till then, thanks for watching. All the best for examination. Bye bye.